Get Into Sports podcast. For the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, 4 new Olympic sports were added: karate, sport climbing, skateboarding, and surfing. I was glad to see the Olympic Committee include these less conventional sports, but I don't think they went far enough. Why do they exclude competitive games? I would strongly favor the inclusion of esports. Some might argue they don't belong in the Olympics because they're not real sports, but here's why I disagree. First of all, to show that esports are in fact sports, it's important to define what a sport is. All sports have 3 things in common: a physical skill aspect, a competitive aspect, and rules. Also, most sports are one of 3 types: combat sports, independent sports, or object sports. Let me explain. In combat sports, the competitors try to control each other. Think of wrestling or boxing. Independent sports are very different. There's little or no contact, and athletes perform individually. Swimming and snowboarding are 2 examples. Finally, in object sports, the athletes compete to control an object, say a ball, as they do in soccer and basketball. New Olympic sports are picked from the International Olympic Committee's list of recognized sports. I'm happy to say that 2 of the sports on this list are games, bridge and chess, although being on the list doesn't guarantee they'll ever be selected. Competitive games like these are often referred to as mind sports. This makes sense according to our definition, since they have rules, a competitive aspect, and a physical skill aspect, although that mainly occurs within the player's mind. Mind sports like chess and bridge would be classified as combat sports even though there's no physical contact. There are no esports such as Fortnite or League of Legends on the recognized sports list. This surprised me because they are definitely sports according to our definition. They have rules, are competitive, and the physical aspect is using buttons and controls to manipulate a virtual object or person in a video game. If you've ever played video games, you know they demand a lot of physical skill. Depending on the video game, it might be a combat, independent, or object esport. Let me finish by saying this. We know the International Olympic Committee wants to make the Olympics more youth-focused, and its decision to include karate, sport climbing, skateboarding, and surfing is in line with that goal. However, hundreds of millions of young people play video games, and experts predict that the esports audience is ready to explode. For these reasons, including esports in future Olympic Games could be a great decision.